Hi, I'm Marcus Coward, and this is Wake Me Bedford, and I am here with Cody Carmo. Cody, thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
And so, help paint a picture of who you are for our listeners and our watchers at home.
Yep.
And you can start with where you're from.
All right, so I'm from New Bedford, born and raised, right around Bedford Park area, so I'm like West End kid, I guess. But yeah, I have a clothing brand that I started in college, so it's been a long time. But I've been doing that like full time, probably like the last like 4 or 5 years without like another job. And then I do printing for like other people, other brands in the community.
Sure.
I have a studio at the Kilburn Mill, and pretty much I do everything there. So it's just, I try to spread the love, you know, like I got the stuff here, so if people ask me, I try to do it. But as far as the clothing brand goes, we're getting there, we're rolling. It's been pretty good like the last like year, 2 years, so.
Okay, glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And so, New Bedford, born and raised. So, take us not too far back, but to elementary school. Where'd you go?
I went to Hathaway.
Hathaway.
Hathaway, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you still have memories of when you were there?
Yeah, I just remember it like, I mean, I still have dreams about it. So like being in it, but
Sure.
it's like funny to like go back and look at it because like it seemed so big when I was there, but it's like just 2 hallways and like another hallway and there's gymnasium. That was it.
That sounds very basic.
Yeah, but
I don't think I've been inside.
Yeah, but it's one of the nicer schools, honestly, in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I liked going there. So, but right down the street.
And what about for middle?
Middle, I went to Keith. So old Keith.
Sure.
I was one of the last classes before they redid it. So kind of got gypped because they told us we were gonna be in the new building, but we never got that because they delayed it. So,
did it like really need a renovation?
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I mean, they probably could have not built an entire new school and like fixed it, but I understand infrastructure changes, stuff like that. So they probably just wanted to just do. And then now all the schools kind of match. So yeah, but.
And then where'd you go for high school?
New Bedford High.
Okay.
MBHS, yes.
Yeah. And did you enjoy it?
Yes, yeah. So I played hockey, played lacrosse, and then I was in Gold House, if that matters or anything. But yeah, I really liked high school. So.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, back in elementary, middle school, did you have an idea of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I would say yeah. I mean, obviously, like. Originally, I want to be like an astronaut or something like that.
Me too,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. So it
really
seems
went
like
out of fashion.
Seems like the cool. Yeah, it seems like the cool path. But then like the other thing is like, I always like drew stuff, like did art and stuff through like middle school and whatever. And then in high school, I guess I started drawing more, but I never was able to get into art class in high school, just because the way they like schedule the classes and separated us. So I didn't get it till senior year. But then senior year, I figured out I like really liked it. And then I was getting into college. I'm like, what do I want to do in my life? And we're at a job fair pretty much for all the different schools. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, what do I want to do in my life? And I was like looking, and then I saw graphic design. I was like, that sounds like something I wanted to do. So I was more into like animation and stuff. Like I used to go to Disney a lot when I was younger. So I was kind of like really inspired by that. So that's what I thought I was going to school for. But it's not really what like graphic design is. It's more of like, that's more animation.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It ended up being a good thing because graphic design is super useful in this day and age. Like everyone needs like branding, logos, all that stuff. So that's pretty much what I went to school for. And then I had a small concentration in fashion, and yeah, very small,
So
3 classes. But I attempted it. You know, it's on the resume. But yeah, so it was kind of like there, and then like I started screen printing in college, just out of like I don't even really know, like I found it on YouTube or something. Then I like ordered a kit. I was doing it in my dorm room, and I made like 5 T-shirts. I like made a bunch of T-shirts for like my friends and stuff, and then just kept going from there, like figuring out the process. But this is in like 2012 to 2013, so there's not like this plethora of like information on the internet and like how to do this. Like so, I was like
kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah, very very bare bones. So yeah.
So in high school, and even like before, like what are the first things that you're drawing?
Just crazy stuff. Like I would just like start just like with random line or squiggle or whatever, and then I would just keep going and see what it turned into. And that was like a lot of my like drawings and stuff. And then like I guess more like clip art or like Johnny Cupcakes, like kind of like that old, like the new school style back then. I guess it was that more like poppy like art, like tattoo-ish like stuff. Like that's what I was trying to emulate. But I really like streetwear also, so I kind of got that vibe too. So I like a lot of different things, but me as an artist, I was kind of like limited to what I could do. So it was kind of those types of drawings, but like I always had a bunch of them. People always were like, "Oh, that's really cool." So yeah, so that's how all of my early stuff kind of was. But
what inspired you to draw?
just I don't know. I've always been like creative. I like to like make things. Like that's what like gives me a lot of satisfaction, I guess, is just like being able to create, like just from my brain, whether it's like clothing, a logo for someone, drawing something, even like interior design, stuff like that. Just like I don't know, I like making something out of nothing. So it's like, yeah, so that's kind of what gives me joy. So drawing kind of does that.
Now, when you're younger, are you like doing projects for other people, or all this is just for yourself?
So when I first started, it was all just for myself. And then I also worked at like 2 different screen printing shops. So when I first got out of college and I came back home, there was a guy, he had like a local shop and he needed someone to work for him. I was like getting paid like $10 an hour. But I had to run like the whole screen printing side.
Okay.
And like, I mean like run it. So I had to like do everything. So I kind of learned everything pretty quickly, but it was kind of a blessing because like I knew how to do everything now. So then I went and I got another job at another screen printing shop down the Cape, which is kind of the same thing, but I was in the designer role at that shop. But then they found that I could do like printing and all that stuff. So they're like, let's put you over there, because I was getting stuff done. There's extra time. So then really started printing there, and then it just became like a whole like time thing, getting back and forth, because they were building the bridge, so it was like an hour and a half. So I was like, all right, I can't do that. So I come back to New Bedford. And then I had like 2 serving jobs, and then I worked at Point Out Signs too. So, and I was doing that, and that was like more the corporate stuff. So I learned how to do like details and all that type of stuff. And that's kind of what gave me the ability to do my own business now, is because I've worked at that level. So there's stuff like I was in charge of like CVS, like all the branding and signage and stuff for like all regional CVSs in the area, Targets, like big brands like that. So like things had to be perfect. So it kind of just gave me that like, I knew what like professional standards were pretty much, so now I can work with like pretty much any level company, but do it for myself. So, and that's what I like to do, is because I was like, I have a lot of skills here, and it's kind of, I don't like to just do this when I can be doing all that. So, yeah.
So what college did you go to?
Johnson & Wales.
Johnson & Wales. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And dang. Okay. Yeah. So when you're learning graphic design and fashion, now comparing that to the experience that you got from your actual screen printing jobs, which do you feel like was more useful?
So schooling was great, like I guess to kind of form me or to think a certain way or whatever. Like I wouldn't change it, because obviously I wouldn't be where I am right now, right? So I'm not sure, but I would say that college made me very resourceful. So it was like they would assign us projects, and it's like, all right, you got to go and do this. So it wasn't a lot of like teaching hands-on. It was more of like project-based stuff. So I kind of got used to doing it like that, and that's kind of why it transferred well to like client work and screen printing work, because it's like a project, and then you treat it as such. But it might be the screen printing stuff that like, I'd say probably the actual work experience, like working at the shop and then working for another company. But I don't know if I would have gotten that job at the other company if I didn't go to school. So it's one of those things. But graphic design is like a lot of just, you got to know the programs, so you can be a good designer without going to school for it, would be my advice. Like, because like a lot of shops, like they might care here and there, or like a place you want to work, but if you're a really good graphic designer and you can show that through your portfolio, like whatever you do, they're gonna hire you anyway. So
your branding job that you get with like Target and CVS, do they do that based off of your portfolio or your degree?
So that was a degree kind of based thing, but they assigned it to me just based off of like kind of how we had like 6 designers in-house, and then like they needed someone to take it over, and they're like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, oh, sure, like, because I was already kind of doing a lot of it anyway. And then, but it was just like super high capacity workload. Like there's like 100 locations in just like New England area. And I had to like make sure, and this wasn't just like graphic design, it's like technical design. So it was like speccing things out, all like how to install a sign into a wall. I'm like, I don't know. so there was a lot of that. Luckily they didn't really listen to me. As far as that stuff goes, like drilling it into the walls, they do what they thought was right. But that definitely like got me probably to where like I wanted to be, like realizing you can run a business, you can kind of do like a high-end thing, or like you can have pristine clients, like, you know, care about your clients and stuff. And that's always what's got me at my other jobs, is like maybe they didn't care a lot. Like my first job, the guy didn't really care about the customers, more about the money. And my second job, they kind of didn't know what was going on, so I like had to know. I was like, all right, I know everything that's going on. And my third job, it was kind of like very corporate, and like things should be done a certain way, just because versus like what makes sense. And that's what kind of like pushed me away from that job. Is like I was like, you're doing all this when you could just go right here, and it's just for like the sake of doing it, you know. So so I don't really like that like corporate like kind of workflow.
I get you.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the way that you do it is just like the way it makes sense. This is what we need to do.
I like to go. So like when I get in like in the mornings now, when I go to my like studio, I'll get in at like 11 o'clock and I'll just like go until like 5 o'clock.
Wow.
5 o'clock's like the cutoff for like shipping and like companies ship out. So I like chill out after that, but I'll keep working until basically I get tired and then until my eyes start to hurt. And then,
I try to get some sleep.
I try to make the most out of it. So I like to, if I'm using my skills, I like to basically get the amount of money that I can, like for doing my skills versus like a job that's assigned to me like crazy amounts of like workload and like all this stuff, and it's just like not much payout for it, I guess. So, yeah, it's a lot of stress for not a lot of reward. So yeah, I like the reward.
So when would you say you become business minded? Is it when you're younger? Like I've talked to some people who like
I would say like no, like I've always kind of like not been business minded. So like probably I've always been driven by like that's kind of what kept me at my other jobs. Like even though they were kind of crappy, I liked it a lot. I was like I get to screen print. Like I like, you know, I just like the process of it and like being hands on and like making things. So that always drove me, not necessarily money, because I would think that if I was like more money driven, I would kind of do like different things with the brand, like kind of oversaturated or whatever. So for me, I just like I really care about what I'm putting out. So I don't want to like look back at something maybe like 1 or 2 years, or even like a few weeks, you know. Sometimes I make stuff and I'm like, but there's other stuff I look back at and I'm like, I still like that, and that's what I'm trying to get is like that's where kind of the name like longevity for the brand comes from, is that like it's like timeless gear, so it'll last. You can wear it now, you can wear it in 10 years, and I still see stuff like that, so it's really cool.
Do you put are you like your own hardest critic?
Yes.
Okay.
1,000%, yeah.
So would you describe yourself like in some ways as a perfectionist?
I'm probably my work, not so much a perfectionist, but like my own worst enemy as far as like I like to overthink a lot. Sorry. I like to overthink a lot when I'm doing designing. Like if you looked at my computer, it's just like hundreds of things, right?
Okay.
And one, I'll over design, and then I'm like very bad at like being decisive because I'm like, it's mine. It's like cooking your own food. You're like, oh, this tastes pretty good, but like, does everyone else think it tastes good? You know? So yeah. Is there too much salt? Like, or should I add more flavor? And that's like kind of the same thing with like a T-shirt. Like, you have the T-shirt here. It's like, is this like this logo? Is this too little? Or like, should I add more to it? And that's always the question in my mind, is like where to stop, what to release, like things like that. Because with a brand, it's unlimited. Like you can do whatever you want. Like the possibilities are endless. Like it's a brand. You can make a sneaker, you can make a button-up shirt, you can make pants, you can make just regular T-shirts. It's just all over the place, and deciding on that as like one individual person who like does all this stuff is just very tough without feedback, I guess. So that's why it's important for me to like talk to other people, and I like to consider a lot of the things that people say to me in person. So I'll get a lot of that from who I see like in real life, pretty much.
And so, that leads me to my next question. Like, with that feedback, do you have like a team, or do you ask your family, or do you ask like customers?
So
where do you get your feedback from?
I used to kind of have a team, and it was like my group of friends at the time when I was like a lot younger, and we all used to hang out at Shop U7. So and it was my friend Paulo and my friend Ethan. My friend Ethan moved to Colorado, so. And then my friend Paulo, he's with his girlfriend now. They just actually got engaged. So he kind of like stepped away from the brand. He's doing his own thing with that. So, but we still talk all the time, hang out, whatever. But it is tough not having the feedback, because it is just me a lot of the times, because you know, not everyone wants to be there like crazy hours. I work like crazy hours. I'll be up early and I'll stay up late, and I just don't care, because I like kind of only care about the end goal and just maximum output, stuff like that. But it's really tough without like asking people. So the people I do ask would be my customers that like I post stuff, they're like, hey, da, 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 and like I'll ask some certain people that like kind of buy a lot of the brand to like, hey, what do you like? What do you think I should like do? And like kind of get a feel that way. Or like at the gym, I have like basically like a gym crew that like a lot of people buy it now, and like we all go at the same time. So like I'll bounce stuff off them, and then just like anyone that I can really like kind of trust as far as like intuition, fashion sense, as far as like it matching with my brand. So yeah, so kind of try to keep it in the ecosystem, but I do like to get outside feedback too, which is why like events and stuff are really good.
Sure.
Because it's cool to have just some random guy be like, hey, I like that. Like, yeah, I went to get sushi the other night, and it was at Turk's, and I was wearing my shirt, just said longevity. And the guy goes, hey, that's what I'm going for. And I was like, oh, I was like, cool. I was like, this is actually my brand. He's like, oh, really? He's like, that's awesome. And I was like, and it's like cool to get comments like that, like, you know, so it makes you feel like you're doing at least something right.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned it a little bit, but in college, graphic design and fashion. Like, what were the two biggest takeaways that you were able to learn from those?
So from there, it would be like kind of like more of the culture. It was when I was in like college, I guess. Like, I feel like streetwear was more in its infancy back then.
Sure.
Like, it wasn't as like popular of a thing. Like, when I started my brand, I was the only person that like had a brand around here. Or like when I was in college, like it was like, whoa, he has a clothing brand. Not like kind of everybody has a clothing brand now, so that was kind of like a cool thing. Is like I was kind of ahead of the game, but at the same time I was ahead of the game, so it was like tougher because I didn't know things. So, but as far as like, I don't really know. It's just tough to think about, like, as far as
like as far as for fashion. Like I guess like did it?
I guess being in Providence was one of the things because I was near like RISD. I was near. I'd go on Thayer Street. I'd see like like hipster people, and then I'd also see like college people, and then it's like kind of putting all that together. I worked at a pizza shop there, Antonio's. I don't know if you've ever been. Best pizza in Providence. I would highly check it out. Yeah, tell them I sent you. Yeah, I would like. I don't know. I just really liked like seeing people wear my stuff was kind of the big thing. But like as far as design was like kind of the tools, and then the fashion thing kind of came after. And like I said, it was just like me wanting to like make my own brands, and just at that time that was just like a thing I did. I don't really know why I started it, but it was like I did it the first time with like the screen printing and stuff, and so I just kept doing it, and just people liked it.
How do you define streetwear?
So I say streetwear just because that's like kind of like a blanket term that people would associate like with like, I guess it's like more accessible like graphic tees that are like heavier quality, like better quality, but kind of encompass like the culture of like people into like streetwear, not streetwear, like skateboarding or like rap culture. Those have kind of like meshed. Yeah. But it's mostly from like the 90s. So it's like a lot of the graphic tees, all that stuff. It's like recycling concepts, stealing concepts, like kind of guerrilla tactics is like the essence of streetwear, I'd say. It's like you make a brand kind of more DIY or whatever. So that's why you'll see like a lot of brands, when they get a little too big, people kind of turn away from them because it doesn't have that same like angst to it. Like So, but for me, I say streetwear because that's kind of like what it was, and I do make streetwear type graphics. But I'm more of like a not like lifestyle per se, but like life functionality, comfort, like stuff like that. Stuff you actually wear in life. Like I kind of want to make like daily clothing, and then also a little bit of like stuff that you can wear like as graphics and stuff. But like I'm very big on wearability. That's probably my main.
Why do you feel like streetwear has become so popular in the last couple of years?
I mean, definitely from COVID. So like everyone started a brand, I feel like, and then everyone's bored. So everyone like kind of like had that opportunity to had extra money. Like a lot of brands did start during COVID that are like super popular right now, and I feel like people had that chance to like either like learn about it or like they got into it because they weren't so busy, and then like But it's definitely social media. It's just anyone can have a brand. It takes under 24 hours to like make a brand page and like all this stuff, set up a website if you really wanted to, and like kind of launch. So the tough part now is standing out because there's so much of it. So it's like oversaturated. You'll see a lot of like copycat brands, stuff like that, and it's just you just got to figure out a way to like stand out because it's just so much of it now, especially with AI and like all that stuff. And it's just you gotta really. I guess now people really like personality on the internet versus when I started, it was like about being like a cool, like hidden brand, like kind of like don't really like say much. And now like everyone wants it to kind of be the opposite. Like, hey, you're the owner of the brand. You should talk to the camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, tell me everything about your brand. So, so I'm like, it's definitely a shift, but if you can capitalize, there's a lot of money to be made. So, and it only takes one collection. That's That's a big thing I learned coming up.
It only takes one collection?
Yeah, so like as far as like you could, your last release can be like, oh, I did terrible, whatever, but then you come out with your next stuff, and it's just, you do it a little bit better, you add a little bit, and then it has that success, and that can like just generate like for the next few, and like give you that momentum you need. I think it was maybe LRG back in the day that it was the the owner of that LRG that like said that, and it's like it only takes one to like get back. Actually, I think it's 10 Deep, if you've ever heard of that brand, but that's an old streetwear brand from when I grew up. So 10 Deep, but it's like, yeah, it takes one cycle to like kind of change your brand, because you get people be bunk, 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 and then right there you have that good collection. You have the right celebrity co-sign. You do the right marketing campaign. It goes viral on TikTok, and then you're back in the game. So
describing that process like really makes me want to ask this next question.
Yep.
So, because you were just talking about that oversaturation of the market,
Yes.
do you think it's easier to get noticed now or harder? Like there's going to be pros and cons, like comparing it to like either when you first started or even like 15 years ago.
I'm going to say easier.
Okay.
But the caveat is that easier for people who are good at it. So like you can, basically there's so many bad things now that like people can tell when things are bad, like they can like sniff it out quicker, versus quality is more rare to come by, so it's like more recognizable, so when people see it they're like, oh, they really gravitate towards it. So I would say that that's it. And then if you're doing the social media right, people really seem to like respect that, as far as like, oh, you're grinding on your videos, stuff like and they just like gravitate towards you as a person, and they're like, I want to be like you, or like I just respect what you do, and then that's kind of what gets you the customers now, versus like, oh, this celebrity wears it, stuff like that. But yeah, I would say if you're good at what you do, it's definitely easier now. But if you're obviously like just copycatting someone else, or like copy pasting, stuff like that, people are going to see that too. It's like you need depth, I would say, is probably the most important thing people are looking for now, is depth and honesty. So
and that might answer this next question of what do you do to stand out
right now? So I'm trying to figure that out, as far as like, so what's probably gotten me by is just like my customer like my relationships with customers. Like just I always like to hook it up. Like I like to keep the prices like not too crazy. You know, like I like to give like deals and stuff. Like that's always been my thing. As far as social media goes, I'm a little bit too basic about it, and like too bare bones. So I'll just like post like a drop or whatever, and then like it goes how it goes, and maybe I'll like do some follow-up posts and stuff, but I don't have that consistency that I should on social media. So I'm kind of running the brand old school right now. It's like I have like the social media is almost like an email list of like depending how the algorithm wants to like work, it'll like hey, but I mean, I'd say that it's really cool in that aspect though, because organically I'm getting all this like traffic, and like I'm still able to survive as a brand without being overbearing on social media. But I would like to find a balance of how to like package it, because I do all the stuff, I make all the stuff, it's just it's a lot for one person to run the brand, do stuff for other people. I also have a kid, so that's a little bit of a time factor
just
there.
a little bit.
A little bit. So like he takes my attention as well, but balancing all of that, and then like being like, hey, this is also like, you know, like filming yourself doing it, and then editing it, and then getting it online, and then making sure it's all good. It's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
So that's kind of the big thing right now, is like, I guess growing pains is like, I'm at a stage where I'm like pretty big, but maybe not big enough to get like extra help, stuff like that. I'm like right in the middle. So, or just finding the person's another thing. So, but I mean, it's tough to really gauge like what to do on social media these days, because you don't want to do the wrong thing also. Like I don't want to not be who I am for the sake of being like, oh, this is a social media trend, then I'm like super corny, and then like, oh, that's and then that's the thing that goes viral.
I know exactly
you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, I want to do stuff that like I'm not gonna like cringe at, I guess.
Yeah, that you're comfortable
but
with.
Also I do want to adapt that style of like more personal social media, you know. So, but
it's a fine line.
I
know exactly what you mean.
Because sometimes I see things, I'm like, but I just feel corny doing it sometimes, I guess. So
and there's so many like gurus saying like, this is how you go viral, or this is how you can gain followers.
You go viral, but it's like you gain followers, but it's like, are you going to have that, I guess, longevity with your followers? It's like, you know, like just, are they going to stay? Are you going to maintain your followers? Or are they just going to follow you momentarily for like that one thing that you posted, you know? So that's what's dangerous about trends. It's like people expect almost the same thing from you. And with social media, that's kind of how the format is now. It's like you do kind of one thing, and then people follow you for the one thing, and they expect the format that way. And I haven't found the format yet as far as that goes. Not that I guess I am looking for a format like that, but
Sure.
I don't want to just do the same thing over and over again also. So it's a way to balance that. So it feels fresh, and people don't feel over like, oh my God, like another post, you know,
Yeah.
so not too much. So I try to keep that little middle ground, but sometimes that hurts me.
Would you say that you deal with the pressure of owning a business well, or are you still trying to figure that out?
I would say I've gotten better at
Okay.
it. So I've made like every mistake in the book as far as like a clothing brand goes. So
Okay.
it's definitely like like I say, people don't know how like good they have it now when they like start a brand or something like that, because there's so many things that like when I started, I took so many L's on like trying to manufacture like overseas and like stuff like that, and it's like big lump sums of money, and then the stuff comes in, it's like too small, or like the fabric's wrong, stuff like that, and just it's I don't really know like how to really describe it like in general.
But you've gotten better with time.
Yeah, it's
but
like,
it was through a lot of trial and error.
It's like a lot of pressure, but then like it's rewarding at the end of it. But you have to know how to do so many different things. If you're like all right, I want to run my own clothing brand. Like you have to know how to like ship stuff, get the product ready, launch a website, run social media, marketing, like brand identity, all that stuff. Like you have to be like a tastemaker in all these categories, and that's why like a lot of big brands, I mean, they have a bunch of people that do all this stuff, and that's their job, and they went to school for it, and they were hired for that. But like if you're trying to do it yourself, you have to realize you're doing all that yourself, and it's just, it does become a lot of pressure, but it's as much pressure as you put on yourself. So like I'll do drops sometimes that I'm like, it's a lot of stuff or whatever, and it kind of like ends up falling on me. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done it this way, but like you learn from that. So I've learned like I said, like every lesson I've taken a bunch of L's. So I'm like super prepared for things now.
Okay.
So I'm getting better. I'm kind of like getting like a system going, and it's kind of starting to ramp up as far as like speed to get stuff out, production, things like that. All the old headaches have kind of like gone away because I've like battled through them pretty much. So the last 2 years have just been like grind mode pretty much to get like my studio to like maxed out mode, and like I can kind of do everything I need without like needing anything else. So yeah, so I haven't bought anything on Amazon in like 4 months. So
what do you mean
which
by
is
that?
like supplies and stuff like that. Like, oh, I need a tape dispenser. Oh, I need packaging.
Because
like,
you have everything.
Yeah, I basically have gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, I've kind of cleared out the Amazon, like as far as like camera stuff, like little accessories, attachments, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm there. But again, it's like more of a time thing than anything.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's where the pressure really comes, is like the work week, and then like shipping times, and then like my schedule, my son. So it's that crazy bounce. So I only sleep like 4 hours a night usually, but.
Nice. Yeah, super healthy.
Yeah. So I take naps, like I usually crash on like a Wednesday, like 2 o'clock. So yeah, tomorrow.
That's our sleep time for the week.
Yeah. So I was like, Tuesday, all right, I'll still be awake.
So really last question to wrap up part one. If you could hire one person, would it want to be like a personal assistant, or someone else that like knows your like everything that you do, and they can just be a second you? Or?
Yeah. So I'd say probably more of like an assistant, someone to keep me on track, bounce things off of, like scheduling, stuff like that. I don't really do well with like that aspect of it. Is like being super organized. I'm an artist, so like they say, like we're like disorganized, but like I'm like a bit too big picture as far as like my ideas go all the time, and I don't really like the specifics. So it'd be nice to pass that to someone. They can like organize it for me, whatever.
And you can trust them.
And I can trust them with it, and I'm like, all right, you're doing like good. Like you're setting me up to be like optimal, pretty much. Like I feel like that would be good. It'd be nice to have another hand, but I feel like I still could get like a little bit more going in the background to get like just like another like production hand. But that's probably pretty close too, because I do feel that sometimes. But then it's like, it's over, and I'm like, all right, I did it. So I don't know if I like need someone, or if that would just like kind of like make me more like real as a business. So I have like business hours, stuff like that, and then like have people go there, and like it might be a thing that like could help. But I feel like kind of the more on track stuff, like someone to focus on big picture stuff, keep me in line with
with the details.
Yeah, because like I like to design stuff, so I can design for hours on my computer, like a million things, but like you got to put the stuff out in order to make the stuff that you designed, and that's why it's a little bit different than doing like just graphic art or something like that. It's printed, so like you got to pay my, like every time like a new graphic comes out, that's like money out of the bank account, or like a print run or whatever marketing you got to do. So there's a lot of factors to think about every single time you make stuff. And so if I could be like, hey, what do we need to do? Okay, I can get that done. Boom. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And great answer. So that was Cody Carmo on part 1, and he's the owner of Longevity, if you didn't get that from our conversation. But definitely check us in episode 2, where we'll talk a little bit more about his business and his future, and he'll give us some do's and don'ts on starting your own business and clothing brand. You know, he's already given us a couple, but I know just from talking to him from a little bit, he definitely has plenty of gems stacked up from
gems, I got you.
those many L's that he's taken. No, all those lessons, that's what the L stands for. And so thank you so much for watching. Catch us in part 2, where we continue this conversation. Peace.
I'm running,